Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
To customize your company's advanced settings, click the Settings button. Then click the Account and Settings link under the Your Company heading in the menu to open the Account and Settings window. Then click the Advanced Company Settings category link in the menu at the left side of the window to show the individual settings in that category to the right. The Advanced Settings category contains an Accounting, Company Type, Chart of Accounts, Categories, Automation, Projects, Currency, and Other Preferences section. To edit the individual settings in each section, click anywhere in a section to activate its settings. The Accounting section lets you customize your accounting settings. To select the first month of your company's fiscal year, use the First Month of Fiscal Year dropdown. To select the first month of your company's income tax year, use the First Month of Income Tax Year dropdown. To select your company's accounting method, choose either cash or accrual from the accounting method dropdown as appropriate. If you are not sure which method you use, check with your accountant or bookkeeper. To prevent changes to transactions before a specified closing date, click the Close the Books toggle switch to set it to the On position. Then enter the closing date into the closing date field that appears. Then use the drop-down below that to either allow changes to transactions before the closing date after being warned, or allow them only after being warned and entering a password. If you choose to use a password to prevent changes to closed transactions, enter it into the Password and Confirm Password fields that appear. Be sure to save the password in a secure location too if needed later. To save your changes, then click the Save button in this section. To cancel the changes, click the Cancel button instead. In the Company Type section, to select the tax form your company uses for filing taxes, select it from the Tax Form dropdown. If you are unsure which tax form you file, ask your accountant. To save your changes, click the Save button in this section. To cancel the changes, click the Cancel button instead. The Chart of Accounts section lets you enable account numbering and set some default accounts in the Chart of Accounts. To enable account numbering, click the Enable Account Numbers toggle switch to set it to the On position. If enabled, to then show the account numbers on reports and within your view of transactions, check the Show Account Numbers checkbox. If shipping is enabled in sales forms, to choose the default account to use for customer shipping, select it from the Shipping Account dropdown that appears here. If discounts are enabled in sales forms, to choose the account to use for customer discounts, select it from the Discount Account dropdown. If you selected the In a Single Account option in the Bills and Expenses section of the Expenses Company Settings category, then you can use the Billable Expense Income Account dropdown to select the account to use for the related Track Billable Expenses and Items as Income setting. If tips are enabled in sales forms, to choose the account to use for recording tips, select it from the Tips Account dropdown. Your choice is tied to the responses made when you enabled the Accept Tips setting in the Sales Form Content section of the Sales Company Settings category. Note that in all the account dropdowns, you can select an existing account from the Chart of Accounts or click the Add New choice at the top of the dropdown menu to create a new account if needed. To save your changes, click the Save button in this section. To cancel the changes, click the Cancel button instead. The Categories section lets you configure class and location tracking. To enable class tracking, which adds a class field to forms that you can use to classify the transaction, click the Track Classes toggle switch to set it to the On position. If enabled, to show a warning if a transaction is not classified when it is saved, check the Warn Me when a transaction isn't assigned a class checkbox. Also, if enabled, to choose whether to assign classes to entire transactions or to each row within a transaction, select your desired choice from the Assign Classes dropdown that appears. To enable location tracking, which adds a location field to forms that you can use to assign locations to transactions, click the Track Locations toggle switch to set it to the On position. If enabled, then use the Location Label dropdown that appears to choose a label for the location field. To save your changes, click the Save button in this section. To cancel your changes, click the Cancel button instead. The Automation section contains settings that let you speed up data entry in QuickBooks by automatically filling out and processing transactions. To automatically fill other form fields based on the last saved transaction for a selected customer, employee, or vendor, ensure the Pre-fill forms with previously entered content toggle switch is set to the On position. To automatically apply any existing credits to the next invoice you create for a selected customer, ensure the Automatically Apply Credits toggle switch is set to the On position. To automatically create invoices for customers with unbilled activity, click the Automatically Invoice Unbilled Activity toggle switch to set it to the On position. If enabled, then use the drop-down that appears to select the automatic invoice creation option you prefer, or if you only want to automatically be reminded to manually create the invoices. Next, use the drop-down fields for the Schedule setting to choose when to create the invoices or be reminded to create the invoices. To automatically apply bill payments entered in the register to the oldest existing bill, ensure the Automatically Apply Bill Payments toggle switch is set to the On position. To save your changes, click the Save button in this section. To cancel the changes, click the Cancel button instead. The Projects section lets you enable projects for your company file. To enable projects and see all related sales, expenses, and timesheets for projects in one place, ensure the Organize All Job-Related Activity in One Place toggle switch is set to the On position. To save your changes if needed, click the Save button in this section. To cancel the changes, click the Cancel button instead. The Currency section lets you set the default currency settings. To set the default currency used by your QuickBooks company file, select it from the Home Currency dropdown. To enable transaction tracking for foreign currencies, click the Multi-Currency toggle switch to set it to the On position. Only enable this if you have bank accounts, customers, or vendors who do not use your home currency. Once multi-currency is enabled in QuickBooks, it cannot be disabled or hidden. Also, you will not be able to change your home currency. If you start to enable this setting, a Need Help Deciding About Multi-Currency link appears, as well as a Once You Turn On Multi-Currency list. To finish enabling multi-currency, you must then check the I understand I can't undo multi-currency checkbox and then click the Save button. QuickBooks then updates the exchange rates every 4 hours and adds new fields and columns to your QuickBooks Online Plus account. To save your changes if you did not enable multi-currency but only changed your home currency, click the Save button. To cancel any changes, click the Cancel button. The Other Preferences section lets you set miscellaneous settings. To select the date format used by your company file, select it from the Date Format dropdown. To set the number format used by your company file, select it from the Number Format dropdown. To choose what to label your customers as within forms, select a choice from the Customer Label dropdown. To be warned if you enter a duplicate check number, ensure the Warn if Duplicate Check Number is Used toggle switch is set to the On position. To be warned if you enter a duplicate bill number, click the Warn Me when I enter a bill number that's already been used for that vendor toggle switch to set it to the On position. To be warned if a duplicate journal entry number is entered, click the Warn if Duplicate Journal Number is Used toggle switch to set it to the On position. To set the amount of inactive time that elapses before QuickBooks Online automatically signs you out, select it from the Sign Me Out if Inactive For dropdown. To save your changes, click the Save button in this section. To cancel the changes, click the Cancel button. To close the Account and Settings window, click the Done button in the lower right corner, or click the X button in the upper right corner.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.